Most people think that you need to choose a single pantheon, but the ancient magicians of the PMG knew better. Today, I will be introducing you to the three archetypes of my path: Hecate, Thoth, and Anubis, and why this triad rings true for me. Stay tuned and we'll talk about it more. Hi, welcome to By Her Fires. I'm Reverend Susanna Olson. It's a little dust, don't worry about it. I am a neurodivergent creator and a follower of the goddess Hecate. I am a torchbearer and a key bearer for a covenant of Hecate. I just wanted to start out with a little bit of a disclaimer. You will see me, and I've kind of got it here now. You can see my laptop. I do have notes, and I will be looking away from the camera, looking down at my notes. It just kind of helps keep me on track, just so that we don't run off into some crazy tangent, which has been known to happen. Let's get started. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about today are the paths that I follow. So the PMG itself, and if you don't have a copy, this is the one that I recommend. It is the Greek Magical Papyri in translation by Hans Dieter Betz. That's the one you can see. I've marked it. I use it quite a bit for references. But this is going to be what this series is going to be about. There's going to be a series of, I think, 4 or 5 videos where I'm going to talk about each one of the deities that I have in my... Why is this not going? Oh, it is. I'm so silly. See, that's what happens, right? You start talking, you think you're recording. I'm horrible at editing. I'm much better at live, because if I record a bunch of videos and then, there I go, off on that tangent. Sorry about that. So back to what we were talking about. The Greek Magical Papyri is the book that will be referencing these 3 deities. In this triad, they're all seen as guardians of the gate or guardians of the threshold. For me, this triad was great, right? I just connected with it almost innately. They're all recognized as psychopomps, which are deities that help you travel between worlds. Hermes is conflated with Anubis as Hermes Anubis, and they were merged into this single deity as guides to the dead. And then we have obviously Hecate in her threefold nature, triformous, often depicted 3 bodies, so forth and so on. And then we also have we also have Thoth, which was combined with Hermes as well to become Hermes Trismegistus. And that leads directly into some of the more interesting studies around how the Greeks and Romans sort of brought everything together, right? When they went into different countries, they sort of brought everything together, very similar to colonialism. So when we're looking at these, I look at Hecate as the light bringer, right? She is the one that shines the light on everything around. She's the one who helps you see. She helps you find. She is the key holder. She is the one who unlocks the gates and lets you see what's going on. Anubis is the judge. He weighs the heart with a feather against the feather of truth, and that's related to Mot. So he is the one who judges what's going on. And then to me, Thoth, or Hermes Trismegistus, is the record keeper. He is the scribe. He is the one who writes down and keeps a record of everything that's going on. And for me, this was very symbiotic. It's a very symbiotic relationship. So they all sort of relate together. And it really helps me. It guides me through a path of understanding. Being a neurodivergent person, I am very meticulous as it comes to note taking and lists. I have about 40 composition books over on my desk with assorted notes. I have sticky notes everywhere. I have I have tons of books, but I also have whiteboards up on the wall with all sorts of things written down. And for me, that leads directly into that keeper of the verdict, that writing down of what the result is. So I relate very heavily to that. Anubis or Hermanubis is referenced in the PMG as the messenger of the gods who brings in the information. He is the divine scout, the sarcopomp, who opens the way. He prepares a magician's space for that transition between the human and the divine world. You can find reference to that in the PMG. And then Thoth or Hermes is the invocation. You know, he's hailed as the founder of the worlds, the interpreter of all things, the divine scribe, the recorder of magic, and the official binding law of the universe. And then, of course, Hecate, the key bearer, as we mentioned before, mistress of the world, mother of all, mother of souls, right? She's the one who holds her torches high and provides the role, the illumination, and the spiritual authority necessary for the gods to do their work. And for the magician, right? That would be us, the magician, to see through the darkness and understand the fullness of the ritual. So that is my take on those three. What we're going to be looking at for this series is I'm going to start off next week with Anubis. And then I just want to share this lovely statue that I got. I'm working on one that I'm going to make myself, but I thought this was a lovely representation. I love that he's holding the Ankh on the side, the key of the world, the key of life. So let me just scooch that over a bit. So I'm going to be focusing on Anubis next. And then the following week, I'm going to do Thoth / Hermes or Hermes Trismegistus. You know, speaking of Hermes Trismegistus, I often find it interesting how you'll have certain groups, and because of the way my brain works, I don't really get to pull up a whole lot of facts very quickly. But I always found it very interesting how when he was conflated, when Thoth was conflated with Hermes, that people began to follow this Trismegistus version instead of going all the way back to what came before. How were they conflated before? Just like the Anubis deity. Let me see, what was that word again? Herman Anubis, right? They'll follow that deity versus going back to the root of it. And for me, I always want to know why, right? I always want to go back and figure out why this happened or why this or why people do the things they do. So I always found that very interesting. And then finally, we will cover in the fourth video, we'll cover Hecate and what her role is in my world, right? You may see something different. Your mileage may vary. But for me, these three deities sort of coming together as one help me lead a life that is one of knowledge, wisdom, and compassion, right? I'm able to bring all those together. Then I'll have a wrap-up video bringing all of them together and having that final discussion on that. If you want to focus on any of these deities, I've got some recommended reading for you. I have, of course, the Greek Magical Papyri, and then I'm going to look at, there's always, this book, Circle for Hecate, that is a great foundational book that you can read. I don't have my copy of Liminal Rites, but that's another one by Sorita Deaste. I recommend that one. And then, of course, the Egyptian Book of the Dead is core reading. I recommend highly getting that. And then, of course, the Book of Thoth. That's another one that's actually attributed to the god himself. It covers wisdom and, of course, the underworld. For me, those are going to be really great books to introduce you to each one of these deities and to help you really understand their impact and where their perspective is. So that's going to be the series that's coming up. I hope to start that next week. And then I wanted to cover a couple other things really quickly. First, as you may well know, you should if you've been following for a while. If it's your first time here, welcome. I can't wait to get to know you better. I host a website, hecatebremo.org. We recently moved out of the Wix platform and into a more human rights focused, I'll say, location. If you go to hecatebremo.org, you'll find not only information about myself and about the work that I do, but also applications to join the Covenant of Hecate. There's applications to become a member of the Sanctuary of Hecate Bremo, as well as supporting my work. What work is that, you might ask? Now, like I said, if you've been here, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're new here, I spend a lot of time dedicating my Hecate Supper, or that Nomia event for Hecate, instead of leaving my donations or offerings at the side of the road where they'll just go to waste. I've changed that around and decided to start. Decided, it's been about 5 years now that we've actively been setting food, clothing, hygiene items in the Blessing Box of Goldsboro. You can certainly search the website and find more information about that. But basically, what that is, it's various locations around our area that have set up so that those who are house or food insecure are able to go and get what they need as it relates to food. We do fresh fruits and vegetables. We do canned goods. We do, basic necessities like toothbrushes, toothpaste, that kind of thing. In the colder months, we'll do things like socks and gloves and hats, just to kind of carry it along. Last year, through kind donations from viewers like you, I feel like I'm PBS, I was able to actually purchase a full box and set it up myself. I say myself, with the assistance of the Blessing Box of Goldsboro. And I go there every Nomia and donate and stock the box and fill it up. This last time we went out, there was a little bit of damage, but we repaired it, so no worries there. But I actually was filling the box when one of the patrons came, and she had nothing but gratitude about how we were helping her, and she was not able to feed her family, and that this box was really helping her a lot. And for me, coming from an impoverished neighborhood and growing up in poverty, this is something that's really near and dear to my heart. And I think it completely reflects how Hecate is the patron of those who are um, less fortunate, the patron of motherhood and children and childbearing and so forth. So I feel that that's kind of come together very nicely. So if you go to my website, as I got pulled off on a tangent again, my apologies. If you go to that website, you can find things like oracle decks. You can find different PDFs that I've recorded or I've written down for different magical purposes that you can download for a price. And all that money goes to help me cover the costs associated with filling that box. So any donations you can make, I greatly appreciate. And I do want to do that special call out that I have this month for my monthly contributors. You know who you are, MK. Thank you for your continued donations and your monthly support. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a 3-card pull from the Crossroads Oracle. For those who are not aware, the Crossroads Oracle is a deck that I created dedicated to the goddess Hecate. When I became a torchbearer for the covenant, we all have a torchbearer project that we need to do. So there's something that we do in order to further the visibility of the goddess. And for me, it was this deck. I finally got it finished and printed, so I do have some decks available. It is self-published, so you won't find it on places like Amazon or anything like that. I didn't have any official rollout, so this is totally a labor of love. So I do have a few decks available that you can purchase. And again, all that money goes directly to the Blessing Box of Goldsboro. So what we're going to do, last week, I introduced you to the Crossroads layout. And this is that 3-card layout for the torch for clarity, the key for action, and the athame for severing. So it's what will we reveal? What do we need to unlock? And what is outdated, or what do we need to be separated from? So let's start with our first card. So our first card is Solar Energy. And this is appropriate because I had to change the position of the camera this week because the sun was barreling in on me. So this is Solar Energy. And the keywords for this card are vitality, growth, and radiance, right? So what we're thinking about here is, what do we need to reveal? Right? What will this journey reveal to us? So when you think about vitality, growth, and radiance, look around you. What do you need to focus on today in order to pull that energy out? You see, this card shows that the energy starts from within, right? And then it radiates out. So what do you need to focus on to help improve that radiance within yourself? Our next card is Hecate and Odia. So let me hold that up for a minute. And Anodia's keywords are traveling, moving, and safe passage. So when we look at this in the what specific action will we take, this is telling us that you need to get moving. You need to do something with whatever's standing in your way today, whatever is there, and you're like, oh, you're hemming and hawing, you're not sure, make a move. Today, this is telling you get up off your laurels, no resting, move on. You do have action that you need to take. And our last card is justice, right? So this is the severing section, right? What do we need to separate to claim your sovereignty? It says the keywords are fairness, impartial, and open. So we need to separate ourselves. Apparently, we're holding on too tightly to something about justice. There's something that maybe we're waiting for retribution. Maybe we're waiting for, someone to give us back something that we're deserved. It's not happening, girl. Move on. Right? It is not happening. This is not coming your way. You are not going to get justified today. Unfortunately, it's time to just simply move on to another topic. So think about that, look at that card, and see how it relates to you. So I'm going to hold up all three of the cards. And I often wonder if this helps, and I've had feedback that it does help. So I'm going to hold that up for you. There are all three of your cards from the Crossroads Oracle. I hope that reading has been helpful for you. I do find it definitely interesting. So that is our reading for today. Hair tie, remember your hair magic. So as we close today, I want to challenge you, right? I want to challenge you to make a move, make a stand. If you don't have an area to support something like the Blessing Box in your area, try to make a donation to mine. I'm certainly willing to help you meet your needs through that donation. So as you go about your day, take a moment, focus on the message from the cards, and try to give back. That's all we can do. I hope that you've enjoyed this reading for today and my update. I look forward to talking with you in our future episodes on the three deities mentioned here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I love hearing from you. And until next time, have a glorious day, and we'll speak soon.